internet. It is I, the British man, Hawk. With me, as always, are my co-hosts, Retro Geek Zen and Bedroom Eyes Joker. And joining us today is our guest, another retro geek known as Lachy. Say hello, Lachy.
Hey, fellas. Good to join you.
Awesome.
Joker, would you like to start us off? I'll take that as a no. So, Lachy, would you like to start us off?
Apparently, I say too much. Like I'm like every third word, but I think that's pretty normal, right?
I think it's because it's not scripted, and we're sort of like trying to go.
Well, yeah, it's improvising as you speak, pretty much.
So if you listen back to yourself,
yeah,
it'd be terrible. You just start, dinging the bell every time you say it or something. You do it like 20 times in it.
When the last episode, I was slurping a lot. That was just me breathing in.
No, you're always slurping, man. Especially when you get excited, you start to. That's why I said something about like
probably move the mic away from your mouth a little bit.
No. What do you call those dogs that like they go crazy and they start foaming at the mouth?
Rabbit.
That's called rabies.
Yeah, Hawk is like a rabid dog.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Especially when he gets into the manga discussion or Star Wars, especially Star Wars, man. If you get Hawk started on Star Wars, he is just like foaming at the mouth.
Frothing.
Passionate is the word. Passionate.
All right, so I reckon how Lachy is on the show. I think Lachy was kind of like the first person to actually comment on our first video.
Mm-hmm.
And feedback is always gold, man. So as soon as Lachy started commenting, we were like latched onto him, and I thought I'd invite him onto the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's kind of a similar kind of vibe to stuff I like as well. So yeah,
I was fairly
happy to be here.
Well, I was fairly certain if you weren't going to come onto the show, I was going to send you a picture of Joker posing for you. Those bedroom eyes winning you over.
Clearly, that would have got me in here just, an episode sooner than this, for sure.
Yeah.
No, but going back to those comments, like some of the comments were, I think, Lachy, some of your first comments were about like, you're a gamer. well, you're a gamer, but you're not a hardcore gamer.
Sure.
Which we could talk about, like just like what defines a hardcore gamer and what doesn't. But
that takes so long.
Yeah, but then you kind of like got into the one little bit that you said was that some of your mates might play service-based games, and then as soon as an update comes out, you find it hard to keep up with them, with those updates, and that's what service-based games are like, right? Like there's an update, the level cap might increase, and then all of a sudden you find that you have to grind again to reach the level cap.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I had that with Destiny 2.
There you go.
And I love that game. It was
Me too.
Just awesome. I dived into it hard for a period of time there, playing more than I probably should have, but was just enjoying it and getting into it. And then I don't know, it's one of the it did start to get a little bit grindy after a fair while.
Yeah.
Still loved it, but it was just sort of grinding away. And then one of those updates comes through, and I don't know, I just found it hard to sort of keep up with it. Quite a few things sort of changed with that update, and before you knew it, your mates had already sort of like zoomed.
All three of us have dropped off. Like, I think all three of us love the game, but it's like
very grindy.
Yeah.
You lose interest very quick, very repetitive, exactly time consuming. And every time I jump on, I feel like I don't know what I want to do or where to start, pretty much.
Well, it's because you don't ever really have a want. It's basically you get on and it's dailies, bounties, go. That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you get into that grind of like almost like you have to do X amount a day, and then once you've done it, you like that's when you log off.
Yeah, it feels like work then. You're just jumping on and just punching that stuff out to keep up.
It's not amusing. There's nothing fun about it once you've done it over and over again.
Man, it's a whole topic in itself. Like for a service-based game to try to make it so it doesn't feel like work in the end game is difficult for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, but I guess they do have PvP to kind of everyone's into PvP. It's the same sort of scenario, but it's always different action. Different choices. different game modes.
PvP is a different beast altogether, right?
Yeah.
Because every game feels different, really. Like you could have someone who gets really angry with dying in a match, and it's pretty funny when they're on the microphone. And I mean, that's what I miss about Division 1 so much is the PvP, because you'd steal someone's loot and they would be screaming, like they would be like, "Didn't your mom teach you any better? And you shouldn't steal someone's stuff." And fuck, it was funny shit, like there were experiences in there.
What does that? Like every time you kill someone, there's always a 2-second audio of their mic of their response, and it's hilarious.
Well, Destiny kind of, it lacks that to some degree. It's like you're in an open world, but when you see another player, you can't talk to them.
No.
And that's what I loved about the Division, was that it had that proximity chat. So if you got closer to someone, you can actually hear them.
Yeah.
That was fucking sick. Like for me, that was so addictive.
But it's also the game style. I really enjoyed that. Even the open space, the winter cold nights, you're playing with mates.
Yeah.
It was amazing when it first came out.
It was amazing. It still is amazing. It's a shame that Division 2 just didn't carry on what Division 1 had. I think they sort of hit the reset button and started all over again and fucked it up.
Yeah, but it's always funny to hear the people that go, Division 2 is just a copy paste of Division 1. It's just like,
it's not though. It's not
No,
though.
it's-
Division 1 Dark Zone was had multiple levels. At the bottom of the map, it was easy. At the top of the map, it was hard. And Division 2 had like the Dark Zone split up into multiple tiny little zones. And
Well, Division 2 has
North, South, East.
three dark zones. Two of
Yeah.
them were like level capped, and the other one, basically
that
your
was
level
crap.
actually mattered. But Division 2 is just also really sluggish, and the surroundings just weren't as good. And for some reason, it just never felt as satisfying to play.
It would have been a lot better if they've kind of worked more towards the first one and just added more, content rather than start on a whole new different one.
Yeah, they didn't need to. I mean, it wasn't like the second one was like a humongous leap in graphics or anything like that,
Yeah.
It wasn't like the next gen. I went back to Division 1 at some point and it felt faster, it felt better. It didn't feel like playing an old game.
Well, yeah, the funny thing is that in Division 1, at the start of the game and that, you'll be pretty much completely cover based, but like towards the end, you pretty much aren't, unless it's like really end game. But in Division 2, it's like you need to be in cover or you'll pretty much just get mowed down immediately. So you have to like stick to cover like the entire time.
I had a broken build in Division 2 that like I just could send out those little balls and they would just
See
kill
you
for me. And like I literally like it's funny because sometimes when you play multiplayer games in a group, especially when they show the stats at the end of a mission where how many kills did each player get, I would get like 4 or 5 times more kills than everybody else, but while everybody else was taking cover and doing stuff, I was just sending out those little fucking balls and they were killing everything. Seeker mines, yeah. So literally, like, I think I started to piss people off in that, like, I min-maxed the build that required no skill whatsoever. And in the end, when like you'd finish a mission, the stats would pop up and I had so many more kills than everybody else, but I did nothing at all.
Yeah, but I mean, there was a lot of stuff in those sorts of games that made you like OP. I mean, remember the Reclaimer when being in Pier 43 and everything? You just throw up the thing, and when it came to the boss waves, you'd literally go, don't bother with the bosses as they'd not be damaging you a single part and just leave it till the end.
Yeah.
I mean, how is that not a bit OP?
Yeah, end game's a funny place to be. But getting back to some of what Lachy's comments were, like, he actually has 3 kids as well. So it's like you often hear about it on Reddit where people are, I think every day someone complains on Reddit about they can't keep up with the end game because they've got a life or a full-time job. That's what I've got, a fucking full-time job, and there's no way I can possibly reach the end of the monthly scoreboard or get to level 100 or whatever. And
well, that's always unfortunately the balance between all those sorts, because MMOs face the exact same thing.
MMOs are exactly the same. Yeah.
Do you cater to a more casual crowd or to a more hardcore crowd? Because like SWOTOR, for example, a game that I liked, I'd say that's more catered to a casual crowd. But if you put like an ounce of effort into it, it becomes a bit infuriating because you like get so far ahead. But with stuff like Division, Destiny 2. I'm not entirely sure, but Black Desert Online maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, you got
You have to put in the effort.
But I mean,
you can do it. You can.
Yeah, as someone who's single and doesn't have kids, I definitely don't have any sympathy for people like Lachy, who has a full-time job and has 3 kids. But at the same time, like Lachy's on the show tonight, so it's like I think it'd be good to hear his perspective on. I mean, Lachy, you did mention that you like. It's almost like maybe because you have a full-time job and you have 3 kids, you tend to lean towards playing single-player games like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, for sure. Because I guess it's the sort of thing you can slot into your life, and I think that's the thing. Like once you've got kids, it's they come first, and you do all of the stuff you need to do for them, and then it's like, okay, if you're still awake and still got some energy, it's like, okay, you're going to jump on and try and get some gaming in or something. So like I suppose like a lot of the time you just sort of wind up sitting up a bit late at night, and it's up to you if you want to kind of sacrifice that, be a bit tired tomorrow, but sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. So
I find that fascinating. Like, so I just figure like, if you've got nothing to do in life, right? Just say not nothing. Okay, just take that back. If you've got no kids and you have no full-time job and you've got all that time to kill, I understand playing games, because like you could lose hours in playing games. Like if you dedicate yourself, like next thing you know, 3 or 4 hours are gone. And I know people that put like 5 to 10 hours solid blocks in where they doesn't even look like they get up to hang a piss. It's like some people are hardcore, right? But like I find it fascinating that you could have a full-time job, have 3 kids, have a wife, and all of that, and other passions, and still somehow have some motivation to actually sneak a bit of gaming in. Like, where does that
for
come
sure.
from?
Do you know, like I've always loved gaming. I mean, back in the 80s when I was a kid, I got my first Atari 2600, and
Oh my God, we're the
and I don't know, ever since I sort of had that, I've always loved it. And so I think I mentioned to you before, it's one of those things. I remember my mum sort of saying to me when I was like a teenager or 20 or something like that, and sort of saying to me, why are you still playing games? Aren't you growing out of this stuff yet? It's like, I reckon, we're going to be the first generation that's going to play games from the time they're kids and all through their lives, because there's something that you can get out of them. I know, like a lot of the stuff I play, it's about the story as much as anything, and stuff like Last of Us and all that kind of thing. I love that kind of immersive story where you can just get into the characters, and that sort of thing really appeals to me. So I'll find the time. I'll get it in there.
I mean, you're right though. Like, I think a lot of people that are, I'd assume that a lot of people that are working full time and have children, they would still have some downtime with watching Netflix or something. So I think then gaming would be that downtime, or that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like for me, it's a stress reliever and just kind of being able to. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, like particularly, I think right now, like we're in this sort of COVID sort of situation too. Like I'm working from home now, which I didn't used to do. I used to work in the CBD every day, on the bus every day. And I think you'd have a lot of downtime as well, just going to and from the office. You don't have that now. So like I'll log off from work and then it's like straight into, hey kids, what are we doing? So so it's like, I think it's good to be able to jump in and jump online and play something and just sort of clear your head and have some fun. It's good stress relief for me. It's not obsessive. Maybe when I was probably like late teens and 20s and stuff, you could smash out some crazy hours sometimes. But as an older guy with lots on, every now and then I might put in a session and I'll just like look down and go, oh dang, it's like 2:30 a.m. or something, and put it down. But that doesn't happen so much these days. I do it every now and then, but you just get absorbed into something.
How's your like, what's your mental state on seeing your kids play games, and then with all that about games and how potentially they could be not so good for your health, and like imbalance? I'm probably more talking about imbalance, like generally speaking, imbalance. Like, how do you stop them from going so hard that like if you're not in the room, their eyes are glued to a screen and gaming hardcore. Like, what do you think about that whole thing?
Yeah, look, I mean, I suppose like first of all, I never judge what another parent does, right? Because everyone does their own thing, right? And nobody's right, no one's wrong. There's different things that work for everybody else, right? So that's kind of like, that's my caveat, right?
Yeah.
No. Fair call.
Before you get any hate mail on that.
You're being politically correct, right?
But for me personally, like I'm pretty old school, and we're pretty strict with the kids around screen time. So we've got like really limited amount of time. Like my kids are pretty small still. So I've got 10, 6, and 3, right?
Oh, wow.
So my 10-year-old's like he would game all day if you let him, right?
Yeah. Has he got a screen on hand all the time? Like, has he got a phone? No, he does.
No.
So he doesn't have an iPhone?
So
no iPhone, no tablet.
Wow.
We've got a family iPad, and it's kind of like it's a set amount of time to
you're definitely old school then. I mean,
absolutely, man.
Because I have friends which have kids and they're on the iPad like just so that my friends and I can have a chat when we go out for lunch. But yeah. Okay, cool.
And just a quick question: how do you monitor, or how do you sort of control their screen time per se?
Yeah, look, I guess well, I mean, for a start, it's password controlled anyway, so they can't just grab it. They're going to have to get our permission to get into it, right?
Yeah.
And I suppose like some of it's totally, yeah.
Dad, oh fuck you, Dad.
It might seem like a little hypocritical at times because like they know I game as well, right?
Yeah.
And obviously.
Shit,
like,
what's that like? What's that like when they can't game and then you're sitting on the couch fucking game?
But who hasn't gone through an experience where your parents go, do this, do that, and you go, well, you haven't done it. He goes, yeah, but I'm an adult, so I can do that. And it's just like, okay.
Oh man.
Why does that ring like a doorbell in my head? Thinking back when I was a kid, the same thing used to happen.
Oh, because I remember,
my dad used to fucking play games, and I wasn't allowed to play games. I had to study.
Well, we had to go to bed at 8 o'clock, and your parents are up till midnight. Like, why?
Earth, right? Totally.
No, I think the experience that I can think of is obviously the whole sit down, you're not leaving the table till you're eating your food, and then my dad would eat like half his dinner and then get up and leave and be like, what the fuck?
Oh, we are unraveling some shit tonight, boys.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy.
I guess like the main way I get away with it for now is just the ratings on the games, and so it's like because most of the stuff I've got's M15, right? And it's just like, oh, sorry, mate, you're 10, so until you're 15, you can't play that stuff yet.
See, I find that fascinating because like I think Asian families are the same. Like I remember when my dad's relatives moved to Australia, and like there's some teenagers there, and at that time I was like skating on the street every afternoon after school. I'm like fucking mountain biking and shit. And their parents wouldn't let the kids come out with me. They were like, oh, no, it's too dangerous, And then I was like watching movies and stuff, and they couldn't come to the movies because, it's M15 and you're not 15 yet or whatever. And I'm like, oh, wow. Just different cultures would be completely different and strict on that, on the ratings. But it's interesting that you're Aussie and you're using the ratings anyway as a way to make it easier for yourself with your kids.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry,
I guess no, you're right. I mean, look, there's some things you kind of go, it's close enough. It's like, for example, Star Wars is PG, and I sat down with my oldest and we watched Star Wars together because it's something I love as well. So,
who doesn't?
I think
don't get him started; it'll be frothing.
But I think there's stuff like as long as you know what's in there and you're comfortable with it, it's cool, But I don't know, the game sort of stuff. It's just a kind of handy little tool, I suppose. To
I'm a bit of a prick like that with my family and like friends and stuff. Like if I'm gonna buy, like if Uncle Justin's gonna buy one of the kids something, it's definitely not. If they're 5 years old, I'm gonna buy them something for a 10-year-old for sure. Like I get a Toys R Us. I'm like, yeah, he's 5 years old, and I see stuff that's like ages 1 to 5. I'm like, that's fucked. That's boring. They're gonna play that once. Like my cat, I get my cat some toys. It plays with it for 5 minutes, and then it gets bored. So I'm the same. If I'm gonna buy a kid a toy, it's gonna be like something a little bit more complicated.
Yeah,
Just saying, you're comparing a cat to a kid.
Same shit.
I've got
Little
both,
baby,
Justin.
little
It
baby.
ain't, I tell you.
No, but I find it fascinating. Like when I do see my mates' kids, like, you'd be out to lunch with them or whatever, and they'd be on the iPad or the iPhone or whatever, and the parents would be like, make sure you got it at an arm's length away, and they've got little arms to begin with, so the screen's already pretty close to their faces.
Yep.
But then if you ignore them for like 10 minutes, next thing you know, you look at them, the screen's like right up against their faces.
Oh, for sure. You see it all the time.
Yeah, it's a natural thing where they're just drawing it closer and closer, and they're playing Minecraft or something, I don't know what, but like their eyes are like literally inches away from the screen.
Do they blink after a while, or do they just stay glued open?
They're just glued, and that's the thing. Like I think it's just I mean,
Blue or
we
super
we
blue?
never had that. We had these like tiny little TV monitors and black
Not
and
even.
white even. Right. So it's like, I think the amount of detail that's going on these days in games, it's like it makes perfect sense that they're glued to the screen like that. And even if you guys look at, like, if you guys have tried VR, it's like literally screens in front of your eyelids.
My childhood consisted of, my dad taking out the power cord of my PC and kicked me out of the house and said, go down to the park.
Well, have you guys seen the videos on YouTube of like parents coming into the bedrooms and destroying PlayStations?
I love it. I love it.
I have.
Like they got fucking hammers and shit, and they just start
Oh, yeah.
fucking
Sledgehammers,
hammering
yeah.
Hammers,
brutal.
crowbars, yeah. There's definitely
Jesus.
one YouTuber who keeps dobbing in his brother for playing video games, and his dad just comes and bashes the crap out of his Xbox. Like not once, not twice, maybe like 3 or 4 times.
I think I know which one you talk about, because he gets like low grades and everything, and he's like,
That's the
comes in
one.
and he's just like, you're supposed to be sudden. He's like, yeah, but I just wanted to take a break. So I don't give a shit. You're supposed to be fucking... And then he starts smashing the crap out of it, and it's funny. Yeah, it is funny.
Sure.
See, I hate to make the comparison between kids and pets again, but like,
But you're going to
I'm
anyway.
going to anyway. That guy, that guy, the dog trainer, like the gay dude, Caesar Milan. He had
dog
like,
whisperer.
yeah.
Yep.
So what's good about that show is that like families have these dogs that are like fucking up their lives, and then he hops on the show, and within like a couple of episodes, he can actually change the mentality of that dog and actually make that dog a good dog. But it's almost like I look at it as like parents having kids that are like, they're gaming so hard that they're not even coming to the dinner table, or they're not even going outside of the house. And it's almost like they need a fucking Caesar Milan to come in and just go,
Yes. Yeah.
fucking, this is what you need
He's
to
right.
do with the kids.
Yeah, see, when you're saying that, I'm literally just thinking of the South Park episode where they did that with Cartman, because that was fucking hilarious.
I missed it.
But I feel
what
like
happens in it?
I'd have to show you the clip, but
Yeah.
basically his mum brings him in to deal with him, and it's really funny as they
But-
like make him docile after a while.
But it almost is like, I feel sorry for parents who can't control their kids gaming too much, but like there must be a way. Like there must be a way to
It's
discipline them.
something they've done themselves, though, because I bet you it'd be like
right.
for me not to compare the dog
with
thing
with the
again.
dogs, but with the dogs,
Yeah.
it's something that they did, right? And that's why they're
Absolutely.
acting like,
Yeah.
or someone, the previous dog owner or whatever. But it's like every dog can be saved, right? Every dog can be an awesome, loving family
Yeah.
dog.
Well, I
The
imagine-
violent ones.
Well, I imagine the best way to control the gaming is what Lachy is doing, which is pretty
Controlling.
much control the devices themselves. So instead of them having like a PlayStation or an Xbox in their room, which they can just close the door and start playing, you have it in the living room, or you have it somewhere, or you've got the power cord yourself. So you're controlling the device the entire time. Or with Locky's case with his iPad, you have the password.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, everywhere I go, let's say I go, to Costco or to a shopping center, right? Every time I see a young kid or a toddler in a pram, the first thing I always see in their hands is an iPad or a phone. And
Not
it's like,
locked. Yeah.
and it's like the parents are just pushing on responsibility to a device, and the kids are learning that this device is generally all they need attention to. And it's like, well, the kid's not learning anything. They're just watching pictures on a bloody screen, and they're not getting interactions with other people. And
No,
it's like,
it's
where's the
worse than
growth
that,
there?
man.
Then I guess
It's
worse
than that.
that'd be a debatable thing, because there could be learning in one respect, but
Right.
learning socially is something else, obviously.
Well, I know a lot of parents like at least have like YouTube Kids or like kids games that like mathematical games or stuff like that. But I also know I also have friends where I'm like if I'm over at their place
Yeah.
and their 7 or 8 year old brother's got an iPad, I'm like, hand it over, and I'll check out the history, the browsing history. And I'm like, man, this kid's been watching animal sex and shit, like
Bestiality.
bestiality and stuff. And this kid's like, check out this history. They're checking out all this Pornhub stuff, and I'm like, they go blue, like they're sick in the face, and they can't believe that their little brother's been checking out this stuff. And I'm like, man, like you gotta put it, like you suggest, put a password on it. Like you can't,
You have to, because like we know heaps of parents, like kids who go to the same school as mine, who've found that same sort of thing.
Right.
And,
So at least you guys are sharing
well,
that with each other.
Yeah, for sure. Because if you don't watch it, because you know how it is. Like when we were at school, people would have talked about all this sort of stuff, right?
Right.
And then they're going, "Oh, did you hit this? Type in sex into whatever, and look it up." And they're all going to talk about it. The thing is, though, when we were kids, there was no internet.
No.
So,
No.
and
We had to buy
now it's everywhere.
magazines. Yeah, we had
I was actually
Playboy and Penthouse and stuff. So
I was gonna say, for me and Joker, because we were growing up at that part, we'd put in
That's
like
why you guys are
Pornhub
fucked up.
or porn or something, and you just click onto the website, and all it would say is, "Are you 18?" And if you just go yes.
yeah.
You might for the first time you might be like, "Oh shit, like what's going to come after this?" But then it's just yes, and it's like, okay, that seems good enough. Welcome.
I know,
may
right?
or
It's too
may
easy.
have not searched porn when I was in grade 5.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's too easy now. It's like it's just
Yeah.
freaky. That
Well, no, it's not easy now, because remember, I actually, my profession is an IT tech, and I actually work at a school, and we've made it that complex for students to even access certain material. Like it's very strict. But again, it depends on the budget and what you're given and the systems you use. But it's
I'd still argue it's pretty easy, unless you're obviously. I imagine Joker, when you're a parent, that shit'll be on lockdown. Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
Dad,
100%.
I'm trying.
It's not a great thing.
I just imagine like your kid going, "Dad, I was trying to search up biology, so I put in sex, and it just shut down my computer. In fact, it just blew up. Oh, that serves you right, you little cunt.
I saw in
Trying
the,
to look at porn."
No,
I was
it
watching the Joe
doesn't
Rogan
necessarily work
podcast
like that.
today, and on Joe Rogan was talking about like this new phone that it's just come out. It looks really slick. Design, the website, everything looks fucking awesome, and it's a phone that is it has a black and white screen, and all it does is it lets you send SMSs and make emergency calls.
Yeah,
And
that's
it-
pretty typical child.
yeah,
A lot of
it's like a light
children
phone. It's called the light phone. So
yeah,
it's
I've
it's
seen like
it's
heaps of them. It's
yeah,
basically
yeah.
you can just make a call or you can send a message, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's not a fucking supercomputer, It's not a PC. It's just
I think
it is
it's
what
a
it
great
is.
idea.
I
Like,
think so too, man.
The thought of I don't know, letting a kid in primary school loose with a smartphone and like
It's crazy, right?
setting up their own, I don't know,
Instagram,
Snapchat or whatever. Yeah, all that sort of stuff, TikTok or whatever. And I don't know, they put themselves in a position where, when we were kids, you'd embarrass yourself in front of your school. If you go and do that on the internet, you're embarrassing yourself
thousands
for life. Then
Yeah.
And even if you try and take that stuff down, because it's on the internet, it's there
impossible.
forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
And the thing is, it makes bullying a lot easier as well for other people.
I mean, it's all new though, right? Like, it's not like we've had years of experience and we can't reflect back on it just yet. But
No, it's
like,
still developing and
it's still
everything. So
exactly. But I mean, like, I've not slept with the mobile phone next to my on my bedside table for about maybe 3 months now, and I'm only trying to do it because I'm thinking that if I wake up every morning and just, which I do, I wake up every morning and reach for the fucking phone, and the first thing I do is I'm on Instagram, Facebook, checking for likes and updates and shit. I'm like, fuck, man, this doesn't feel right. So I've made sure, like, every night before bed, like maybe about 3 months ago, I started just leaving the phone in the kitchen on charge. Um, but I don't know if it's changed me at all. Like, I think I wake up in the morning, I get up, and first thing I do is make a beeline for the phone.
that's weird. I don't think I've ever fallen onto that, because to me, it's like once I get home, my phone just goes in a different direction to me. I'm like, I don't give a shit about this anymore. I'll go on my computer or something.
That's cool. That's
But
cool.
I do always reach for my phone in the morning because it's my alarm, though.
Well, I've seen
Seconded.
some docos and some psychologists think that it's the reason why a lot of us are just so inundated with problems is that, like, you're not meant to wake up in the morning and inundate yourself with like fucking politics and shit straight off the bat. You know, it's not meant to be that hard a start in the morning. So that's why I kind of try to do it. But, like, you know, same shit, man. I get up and make a coffee and the phone's there and I'll start checking it out while my water's boiling, you know?
I guess
That's all right.
yeah, I guess it's determined by, how important or what priority, your social media or your social status is. If you don't care much for, how many likes you get or how popular you are on Instagram, I think you just care less about looking at your phone.
It'd be tough, man. It'd be tough for, like, like I also saw some statistics today about TikTok, and it's like it's
Chinese.
scary that, like, it's just scary that some kids that are like aren't even 18 yet are getting more views on their videos than like Joe Rogan would on his podcast, like, and they're making more
Jeez.
money from it. So apparently, like, they're making so much money. Apparently a few kids under 18 are making millions already on TikTok. So
I still don't have
as
TikTok.
as in a million a
Neither
year.
do I.
mean, like, well, fuck, I've never made a million. So it's like, it's just insane to think that one of Locky's kids could be on TikTok and then outdo his whole lifetime of working hard,
Well,
you
yeah.
know, and making more money than he's ever made. So it's just
For sure.
whack, you know. It's like, to even think about that is crazy. Like,
Let's make a TikTok then.
He's 100% on board now.
but it's just crazy. Like, imagine if your 16-year-old daughter was like making a million a year on TikTok. Like, what would you do? Like, do you stop it, or do you stop
Take
her
the
from
money.
dancing?
Well, just take 50% of the profits.
You live in my house and the rent is 15.5 million. I mean, I think that's reasonable.
But it's
You
pretty
get the same
whack.
with like a lot of the game streamers though as well, and I know like some of my kids
Yeah, your Twitch
they
streamers.
like to
and
watch
that.
a couple.
Yeah.
Some of those guys are making pretty serious cash these days too.
But I feel like there's too many of them now.
Yeah,
But
but
it's
that's
like
the same with
everything.
YouTube.
Exactly. Yeah.
Saturation's a thing. Yeah.
That was just going to happen anyway. So
Yeah. So moving on a little bit from gaming, like, Lochy, I know you through cars. Joker's into cars. Hawk has no fucking idea about cars. But cars are like I hate to start the fucking topic on a low, but, like, man, every single hour of blood, sweat, and tears I put into work, every single dollar I've ever made has gone into cars, and I've got none of it left, bro. Like, there's not one single dollar left from all that hard work I've ever done. Like, it's not in my bank account. It just vanished into cars.
other people's pockets.
Yeah.
You know what, though?
So it's like, how are you going with that? Like, you've got two cars, and one of them is apparently a long-term project car, which means, like, I'm going to put more money into it, and the other one is like a car that you've almost finished, which to me is kind of like, great, you finished it, now what?
Yeah, like I don't know. I've always been pretty restrained, I guess. I live, sleep, dream cars, right? Always have, just absolute car nut. Any time I had free, I'd just be looking at car stuff, and whether it's going through catalogs or just checking out auctions or whatever.
Do you check out car sales? And even if you're not buying
all
a
the
car, you
time.
still check. Yeah, what the fuck
Yeah.
is with that, right? It's nasty.
I had to delete the app because of that.
Me too. I push it
I
to the
just-
fourth screen. Like, you know how on the iPhone you have like different screens? Like, I push car sales all the way back so that I don't check it.
What annoys me is you buy a car at a good price, and then there are even better prices on car sales, which piss you off. And then you're like, the fuck?
But don't you think car sales is this thing that it's this evil thing that like you love the car you've got, but then car sales is like egging you on to get something else?
I'm always looking.
100%.
What is that? Is that like the equivalent of window shopping for women? Like, is it like it's like this
Just less effort. It's just 2 buttons and you're there, you know?
For me, it's kind of like, I want to try a bit of everything. And so,
God damn, yeah, it's almost like the Pokemon thing. Is like collect them all, right?
Got to catch them all. That's it.
Catch them all. Fuck, what is that? It's almost like that's why like Hawk knows Initial D, but the whole concept with Initial D is like if you start to get into Japanese car culture, it's like every car that guy races, I want to own that car.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's like, oh, I want to collect them all.
Yeah, I had my EK Civic for like a long time ago, and I was like, oh, I gotta build this one up, and
Oh god.
I didn't end up building that one up, and then I had a Golf Mark III for a while. I used to be on the old Golf forum.
Yeah, right.
Was playing around with that, and it got written off. So
Oh no.
I went to a couple of boring cars after that. So because kids came along and all that sort of thing. So
The wagons and shit, the 4 doors.
yeah, you know what? I had the worst. Like, if you're a car guy, what's the worst possible car you could buy if you just feel like you've lost your soul as a car guy?
A RAV4.
No, I think there's like, Hyundai 4-door or like a Kia or something.
Maybe they say I had a Camry for a for a little while. Yeah. But that was kind of soul crushing for a little while there.
The saddest thing is, like, even when you had the Camry, you're probably like online looking for modifications for it as well.
I did, It's so sad. It's so sad. I didn't do it though. I didn't do it. I drew the line.
It sounded like you moved to public transport now.
But that's the thing. Like, I did the same thing. Like, I think at some point in my the whole running Jet MST and stuff, I just got so over it, and I got so broke that I bought a Kia Sentra, and I bought it, and then it was so sad that I hopped on a Kia forum and saw guys modifying their Kias, and like I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? So yeah, if you got the bug, you got the bug.
Oh, for sure. I mean, people still laugh at what I've got now because it still seems like an anti-car guy car. So I've got a Volvo station wagon, right?
Oh
so,
no, I might know which one that is. They're nice though.
But Volvo drivers have the worst rep out there.
You know what? That's like a thing from the 80s, I reckon. And it's sort of like
true.
Camry drivers became like the next generation of Volvo drivers. And I was driving one of those too, so
But you're talking about like being a car guy. It's like some of the least car guy cars today are some of the most insane cars. It's like when the Prius came out, all of us were laughing at it. And now electric cars like all the Teslas like a standard Tesla is faster than my GTR. So I think some of the anti-car stuff is almost more hardcore than the car stuff.
Yeah, look, I think it's really interesting because I love the idea of either having a car that I love the research and like just digging in over like what parts I can get and what I can do and all this sort of thing.
That's the geeking out bit. That's the geek.
I've got so many of those like Hyper Rev magazines and stuff from cars that I was gonna buy, and I was I was like specking out everything I was gonna do and didn't end up doing. But I just love all that sort of aspect of it. But I think it's gonna be interesting as we sort of start switching to electric cars, and it's like, well, what are we gonna do with those? And I'm sure there's gonna be stuff that people wind up doing to them. But they're already quick. So
Well, it's going to happen, man. I think sooner or later the fuel pumps will be, few and far between, and it's going to happen.
Well,
like
it's
it-
either that electricity, or they're gonna come up with another solution or substance that ends up. Even I think there are people in the process of using carbon dioxide to run cars
It won't
with the
be
same
fuel,
amount
though.
of performance.
It won't be fuel though.
No, it won't be fuel,
fuel.
but it'll be a substance that replaces it with this, like the same sort of performance as fuel, pretty much.
Yeah, the whole concept of being a petrol head will dissipate and disappear.
Yeah, it will.
you
I hope it
know?
doesn't go all together. I mean, I like old cars as well, so I kind of intend to keep an old car forever. So
That's almost
that's
like saying, hey, in my lounge room, I've still got a fucking awesome black and white television. Let's watch Netflix on this, guys.
Hey, some people still have that.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
was it like,
totally, but it's like it's almost like old school gaming. Like, yeah, some people still do it. But
Yes, but
like,
the people that I expect to have black and white TVs are hipsters. So
But, like, yeah,
I've
good,
probably not
yeah,
gotten
or-
along with them anyway.
well, more power to you if you're gonna watch like a Hollywood film, on a black and white television. But like, fuck, I'd still rather watch it in color, right? So it's a
Sure.
tough call.
I don't mind watching a black and white movie. I mean, who hasn't seen The Great Dictator?
I'm the same.
Me?
I'm the same with photography. man.
Really?
Every now and
Haven't
then,
seen The Great Dictator?
Nah.
you know, black and white is a thing, but it's like it's old school. It's romantic.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't like black and white.
I just think it's interesting considering, like, if you look at The Great Dictator, it's supposed to be a comedy, and like I didn't laugh a single time, but it has like the best movie speech probably in the history of movies at the end of that movie.
Wait, is
Well, it's
that
just
Ali G?
interesting.
No. It's
Oh, okay. I'm thinking
Great
of something.
Dictator.
not
It's Charlie
not
Chaplin.
the dictator.
Oh.
It's yeah.
Okay,
It's Charlie Chaplin.
that's pretty nuts.
It was sort of like the piss. It was sort of like a piss
Slapstick.
take of Hitler.
Yeah, right.
I
No,
think I've seen clips of that. I've never watched the full movie though, but I think I've seen little bits of it. Yeah.
If your slapstick humor was primarily just in silent movies because like everyone had to be like really exaggerated and everything, but it did have slapstick humor. That was like sort of like towards those years as well. I do think I just find those movies interesting. What we consider funny now, and what they considered funny back then.
Oh,
Like-
comedies changed so much. I mean,
Yeah, but
even comedians are. I mean, I don't want to get political, but comedians can't even joke about shit anymore. They're
mean,
getting
they-
banned.
Yes and no.
They're getting their show
yes,
shut
and
down.
no, yeah.
Like I think in our lifetimes at least, I know we're all different ages, but in our lifetime, like if you're a comedian, you can joke about anything you fucking wanted to, like anything.
There's
You
still some guys
could-
pushing it though. I mean,
There's
you
always
had
a line.
Ricky Gervais at the what was that?
Yeah, the Academy.
Oscars or Academy Awards or something.
That was brilliant, bro. Like that's the thing. That's so sharp as a comedian. That's so sharp, and you have like that Hannibal guy that started joking about like Bill Cosby, and next thing you know, Bill Cosby goes down. So it's like it's getting to a point now where it's not even a joke anymore. Like you can't
Yeah.
even joke about it anymore. Someone's gonna chase you, and like this is gonna be real.
What was
like
what was that comedian who did a whole thing on LBGT?
you almost can't. That's what I'm saying. Like you can't even crack a gay joke or a
No, but
or a
he did.
tranny
He did
joke.
like, but he
and then-
did. I can't remember his name. It's like Chappelle. Oh yeah,
Ah,
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, you see,
Dave Chappelle.
he's someone who's so looked up to by so many comedians, but he's just over there. He just doesn't even want to fucking
Do it anymore.
yeah, because it's just not the same.
It's
as
ridiculous to be
when
fair.
he was doing it. It was still people were still open minded, Whereas it's almost gotten to a point now where people will not get that you're a comedian and you're joking. Like people don't actually Joker. Your name's Joker.
And I'm not a comedian. How funny.
but it's almost sad. It's like I get it. I get censorship. Like I totally understand it.
I don't.
But it's just gotten too serious.
Everyone gets offended at everything now. So
Yeah,
Man,
it's one
man.
of the main problems in this world is everyone gets offended.
You know what
so
happened today?
easy.
On Twitter, people started saying Trump has COVID, right? So I started checking it out,
Biggest
and like
news
my
today.
my God, like it was updating like every millisecond. That's how many people were using the hashtag, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
and like the amount of posts of people that were so savage in like wishing that he died from it, and like just I mean it's just, I don't know what's gotten into people's minds where you're talking about compassionate people who are voting for someone that's going to be like, has empathy and stuff, but they have no empathy whatsoever, and they're
Yeah.
actually like hoping that this guy dies from COVID. And
Yeah,
it's
it
like,
is. It is very interesting how they're all the people that get very offended over little things, yet they're probably the biggest community to threaten people with death. They've been like
death,
burning
death.
people. They've been burning people's buildings down. They've been beating the crap out of
Dude,
people
dude,
just for supporting the wrong
dude,
person.
the reason why they want to vote for Biden is kind of like it's because he's empathetic, and it's like, man, what I saw on Twitter today was
I
like
don't know. From what I've seen from their party, they don't want to vote for Biden. It's a case of the fact they're just like,
lesser
I
of two
guess
evils.
no, it's just a case of, oh, we don't
Yeah,
want Trump and
yeah.
we don't really want Biden, but I guess we have to vote him because we don't want Trump.
But
Sort of thing.
but I mean, man, like, and also like it started off early in the morning where I was checking out some like Facebook feeds of some American friends of mine, and they're all like busy for while we were asleep. They were on Facebook, sitting there systematically fucking deleting everyone on Facebook that was a Trump supporter.
It's
And it's
nuts.
like, I mean, like, man, like imagine like in Australia, like you have this political debate where like everyone hops on Facebook, and if you're supporting the other party, I'm gonna fucking delete you. Like, shit, these
No
are
one in Australia remember who's the opposition anyway, so.
no, it's crazy, right? It's just insane that like
Well, there is a
what
word for it.
someone's
It's called intolerant.
yeah, but it's just it's also called like just jumping on a bandwagon and just like, you know, if I didn't post I posted
Well,
up a
no,
photo of a naked girl on the day that everybody else posted up a black picture on Instagram, and then I get some messages on me in my inbox saying, how fucking dare you post a photo of a naked chick on this day where you should be posting up a black fucking JPEG. I'm like, get fucked, like seriously.
well,
Like
if
it's
it's
just
the example of people going, oh, you like Trump, yeah, we're no longer friends anymore. That is like, it's just
but it's
intolerant.
yeah, but it's insane. Like it's insane.
Sad.
And
It's insane,
oh,
but,
it's
and
so
yes, it
sad.
is also sad.
And they're going to be talking about something else next week. Like, everyone's going to like jump on some other bandwagon next week, and you know, it's like
That's just
it's like the
Surprise,
fires, right?
surprise, Kinder
It's like
surprise.
it's like fucking bushfires are going on, and like the whole of Australia starts posting on social media about the bushfires and stuff, and then as soon as Black Lives Matter pops up, and everyone forgets that all these people that have got burnt houses and still haven't got their houses back are still suffering, and oh no, we're on to the next thing,
Yeah, but that's just how it's been working nowadays.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you look around though. I mean, people's attention spans are shorter and shorter,
Yeah.
and it's like every new social media platform comes out with something that's got like a shorter window of like delivering whatever that thing is.
But
It's like
yeah.
TikTok, and then it's just going to end up like just tick. We're not even going to have to talk anymore.
But it's about getting your 2 cents in too, though. Like I think
Sure.
I think everyone just feels free to, the platform sitting there with a blinking cursor saying what's on your mind today, and like you wake up in the morning, you log in, and it's like it's blinking there, and it's urging you on to say something.
Well, I wonder if
So-
the short attention span is just due to an abundance of information. I mean, if you go onto Facebook, you're literally going to
Yeah,
be
you're right.
finding so much like news and jokes and memes and posts from your things that you're basically being bombarded with information and always putting in your 2 cents. The reason it's obviously so big on the internet is literally just because you could have an account that literally is just a picture of, just a black picture, just a block of just a black block, and your name like just like as a creature or just plastic bag or something like that, and you can type in I'm going to find you and kill your family, and they'll have no repercussions to that.
Yeah.
It's even worse than that, man. Like if I go and like on Instagram and I decide to put like literally waste my time by replying to someone in a negative or just honest way and just like have a bit of a war with someone, they'll they'll just give up on the fight altogether because they know they can't win. And then they'll just go and start reporting my photos to Instagram and I'll get banned. And it's almost like there's multiple levels to it, you know? Like people will get you back in different ways now. It's nasty. So it's like it's almost not worth my time to give my opinion on someone's opinion because they're gonna go and I can't win this debate. So I'm just gonna go and dig up what this guy does. Oh, he takes photos of like nude girls on Instagram. I'm just gonna report all his photos today. They sit there and report every single photo, and then like I'm in trouble.
Yeah, but you're really surprised because I mean, nowadays people have been like, you said this 10 or 20 years ago. You need to apologize. This is like
Yeah.
that was 10 or 20 years ago.
Now you're talking
where
about
this
Me
was
Too movement and shit, but like yeah,
well, if I'm
different
I
times.
I think there was a specific YouTuber who made a video like years and years ago when the whole gay thing was still going on, and he made a video where he actually used like the word fag in it.
Yeah.
And they were like, you need to apologize for this because you made a video where you said this.
That's insane. Hey, I mean, it's like, whoo, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, it's fun. Lockie, going back to your kids, I really don't like kids, but I don't even know why I'm talking about kids. But like, man, do you ever think about like the world that they're gonna end up being in, like, and how you can potentially help to prepare them for it?
Look, I guess you know, strangely, I'm an optimist, right?
That is strange these days. That is strange.
It probably is, but I don't know. Like, I just sort of tell my kids, really, you know, regardless of how anybody is to you, you know, treat other people the way you want to be treated, and
Pretty simple, hey.
Golden rule.
don't reflect other people's negativity. Just, you know, put yourself above it and all that sort of thing. Hey, look.
But it's hard when all the adults. It's hard when all the adults are doing it. Like that's the problem. Like I know so many people that are anti-Trump, and it's like if I show them I've been sending them all videos of Biden sniffing hair and like trying to touch a 10-year-old girl's boob and stuff, and they're like, "That's face swap, Justin. That's face swap. That's not Biden. It's like someone doing a video and it's like fucking face swap." I'm like, wow. You know, I can't even get through to the adults. And
for sure.
It's almost like the adults are behaving
As bad as
ridiculously.
children.
Do you know what though? Like, you know, some of the thing though is it's that filter of social media or internet though, right? Because if you had a face to face with them, I bet you'd have a different conversation. I guarantee you'd have a different conversation. And because people just have this mentality where they just sort of do that whole keyboard warrior thing and, you know, spout on a whole bunch of crap. And I don't know, you can't argue with these people. And you're right. Why waste your time sometimes?
It's that safety net that behind a screen where they can
for sure
force their opinion down without any repercussions.
But their sources are fucked. That's the thing. It's like it's obvious. I'm not American, and I shouldn't even be.
Yeah, but as we've seen, even when you use sources, people literally just go, "No, you can't use that."
That's
like,
what I mean.
Why?
CNN is one way, and then like fucking Fox is the other way, and it's pretty
fake
obvious.
news. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. But it's pretty
CNN's
obvious.
fake news.
But you gotta admit, like the reason why I have personally never watched news since I was a kid because I remember
Dragon Ball Z was more important.
Now, as a kid, my dad and my mum used to like sit my sister and I down in front of the television at 5 o'clock every night, and we'd watch the news. And I just remembered like all my memories of news is that there's death, terrorist death, fucking savage death.
But it's still like that now.
Yeah, but it was so there was so much death on this channel that I had to watch for an hour every night. I fucking hated it as a kid, but I would watch it, and then the news anchors, like the news anchors, were smiling every time they were talking about this shit. They're smiling and looking pretty and stuff. And then at the very end of the channel, they'd be like, "Oh, and in Parramatta there was like a teddy bear's picnic," and it ends on a good note. And I'm like, what the fuck? This was every day.
From what I've seen from the news, it's like fire, death, Kim Kardashian, some other celebrity, somebody stubbed their toe, there's a wall that's been painted blue, the weather, fire,
The
back to
weather.
Kim Kardashian, and it just be like, why the hell is there like so much celebrity on this? They don't need to be on the news at all.
Like,
It's,
like that.
there's so much entertainment news that's been like merged into the actual news now.
I was about to say, don't you think like Tracy Grimshaw and her news channel has become the news? Like they've actually taken over, and news has somehow become opinion based. Like, since when was a news anchor meant to have opinions on stuff?
Oh yeah, that's been a whole thing that news isn't facts based so much anymore, but it's politically based.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
So they'll go, we'll report on this, but we're going to lean towards this way, and it's reflected in both, like, you know, your news on the TV and when it's written on the thing as well.
But how hard is it to come up with a news channel that is actually on the fence, as opposed to like being one side or the other? Like, how hard would that be?
Because it doesn't appeal to certain people who just like to be in an echo chamber. Because I'm sick of I'm sick of going across the news and it just goes, the next horrible the next thing Trump has done like really badly because he's such a horrible person.
Yeah,
he decided to fart, and it's like, okay, and
yeah.
What I get tired of hearing is about COVID-19. It's like, I don't know, that doesn't exist now, but like, how many times do I need to hear that? Every day. Man, 14 new cases in Melbourne, or 20 new cases today in Melbourne. Yeah. Like, one person traveled to Sydney from Melbourne, and now there's 20 people in a hotel in quarantine. Like, is there any other new information that would help me, or, you know, see a positive side in this world rather than so much negativity?
Fear mongering and justification and shit. Yeah.
It's terrible.
So anyway, Lachy, I wanted to talk a little bit about how you're Lachy to me on Facebook, but you're Matthew for some reason on our YouTube comments.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to talk about this because it's kind of like, there's been maybe 3 or 4 years now, I reckon, where there's been a lot of YouTubers that have been anti smartphones and anti Facebook, anti stuff that is like this technology knows so much about you. And it is constantly, and you know, I've been of the mindset, well, if you've got nothing to hide, then what's the problem? But I'm curious as to why you feel like you have to have a different name to hide your identity on a social media platform. Like, how did you get to that point?
I don't know. One of my mates jokes about me having like the tinfoil hat, that I'm like that sort of paranoid.
I thought
where does that come from? Like, I've heard this a lot. Like this, I've heard this tinfoil hat thing. Can one of you guys explain to me what?
I thought it'd always be just a sense of privacy. Like, you know,
what is the
private people like to be private.
What's the tinfoil hat thing?
Oh, that's just about, it's a bit of a joke, because they're saying like people who think like the government's reading their brainwaves, and the tinfoil hat will protect.
This is like hiding your brainwaves.
Yeah.
No way. That's fucking cool. So it's
that's the lunatics. Yeah.
It's a belief. It's a belief. Yeah.
Like tinfoil, like literally glad wrap kind of thing around your head.
Yeah, you're gonna wear the tinfoil hat so they can't scan your brain, mate. So.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man! You guys are conspiracy theorists, eh?
I just know from, like, you know, TV. I'm pretty sure like the first experience of it was through The Simpsons, actually, with Bart Simpson when he becomes super smart. Then he puts on the tinfoil hat because the Major League Baseball was scanning him, and he gets the tank and shoots the satellite out of the sky.
So it's to block the brainwaves. But what is it that makes you feel like, if you like, do you feel like you have something to hide? Like,
look, I think like a lot of it's just
invasion of
privacy, and
I feel like you just want some security.
Yeah, well, look, I don't know. Like, I suppose I was a really late adopter to get onto Facebook at all, and the main reason I got onto Facebook at the time was just because it was the only way I could really find out about what was happening with car meets and stuff, because it all moved online instead of the forums, right?
Yeah, true. It destroyed the forums.
Absolutely. I love the forums, but anyway, another topic. But but look, I guess I moved on there, and I don't know. I was always just a bit paranoid about them having my information and who I am and what I'm about. I don't know. I suppose I've come to terms with that over some time. I'm here, which like for me is a bit of a bit of a step.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I think the problem, like with everyone, is the fact that it's basically taking sort of things that you might consider private and sort of like shoving it in your face. So you're like, oh, I'm sort of like interested in this, but it's sort of like a private thing for me. But then all of a sudden it's like coming up all over your Facebook, and you're just like, oh, okay, I don't know how they've gotten all this information and everything. It's just, to me, it's always been a sense of the fact that I like to keep sort of some things private. It's nothing to do with the fact that I'm like shameful of it. It's just a case of the fact that it's just my thing.
But I'm curious about that, because like I've always been an artist. So it's like, if you're an artist, you have to, like, the reason why you create art is to.
Yeah, but I guess it's also a case of the fact that I'm just a bit anxious and shy myself as well.
But I think I'm. Oh yeah, no, I can't say that I've always been shy. But
So I just it's just like this sort of feeling that someone's always looking over your shoulder.
But it's something like when as an artist, your thing is to express yourself. Right? So you end up like
being open.
Well, you put your expression out there in hope that you're not necessarily hoping that people will accept you, but like you can't not. It's almost like for me in my head, like I can't just sit there in silence. Like I actually have to express my frustrations or questions and what I'm passionate about and stuff like that. So for me, it's always interesting to talk to someone who doesn't ever publish or is like doesn't put anything out in the world, because you've only got, as far as I know, you only get one shot at life, right? So like I've always been like, fuck, I might as well fucking go out hard, like burn out at some point, sure, but like I've always felt like I'd love to try to figure out if I have something to give,
I find a bit of conflict with that myself, because it's like on one hand I feel a bit that same way, but then I'm like, you get scared to put yourself out there as well. And I think, like, I know with me, that came from sort of early on. I actually wanted to be an actor when I was like a little kid. I mean, lots of kids do, right?
You got to have a fucking thick skin to do that shit.
Absolutely. And I don't know, like, I think I was just doing some like community stuff when I was like little and all that sort of thing. Get into high school and people start hacking on you, and I couldn't take it.
You couldn't, I don't think anyone can though.
Yeah, but I don't know. And plus, it's also like at a time where you're still like awkward teenager and puberty and all that sort of shit as well. And I don't know, like my confidence took a big hit, and I don't know, it took ages for me to sort of feel comfortable in my own skin again, and I don't know, try to start to put yourself back out there. You know what I mean?
It's weird that whole experience is sort of a double-edged sword, because it prepares you for the later in life, because it gives you a thicker skin. You're not so sheltered, but at the same time, it can really just like you can really get swayed somewhere else. The fact that you're just like, oh, okay, well maybe I shouldn't do this because everyone keeps making fun of me.
Well, like, and in Lachy's case, right? Just say like one of his kids starts to get a bit of internet fame with doing something cool, and then. As a parent, I can only imagine what it'd be like to go through the comments of your kid's YouTube channel and just seeing some of the fucking hardcore trolling going on in the comments, and like.
Oh, it would get disgusting. It would get really disgusting.
It'll be my nightmare, seriously.
I mean, like people wishing Trump would die overnight. It's like, that's how savage it is, right? Like you're talking about people who would be like making a joke about like how awesome it would be if this human being died. Like,
what though? Like he would not give a damn. Like,
Well,
He's a
And-
billionaire, so why would he?
Well, I don't
No,
even think he would rate that, to be fair.
No, but I think he would. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't think, like, I always bring this up, but like, imagine if you were like Katy Perry or like fucking Justin Bieber or someone who's like in the public eye that much. Like, I fucking hate Justin Bieber, but I don't even fucking know him. I've never met him. I hate his music, but like, who knows? Maybe if I sat in a pub with him, he'd be all right. But I don't even fucking mentally go there, you know?
Yeah,
And
but
it's almost unfair.
Yeah, but some people have actually credited Trump for being quite smart for what he's doing, because obviously, since he's so hated by a lot of people, he's always noticed a lot more by people.
Well, he wouldn't have gotten to be like president if he was fucking stupid, right? I mean, like
No,
he's
but, like,
obviously got some intelligence.
Yeah, but think about it. Like, how much attention is on Trump than Biden? Like, and with the first election, how much attention was on Trump than Hillary Clinton?
Yeah.
It's like literally the main focus is on Trump, not so much his opponent.
But I mean that's the thing. It's just like you get to a point where how can that guy sleep at night, and how can he wake up convincing himself that
Threatening someone with death is actually a good thing to do, or even a sensible, an adult thing to do. Yeah.
it's just savage. It's like, I mean, everyone has a thick skin to a degree, but like, I always bring this up too, like with the car forums, like you'd have a guy who would create a build thread and he'd like be posting about what mods he was putting on the car and stuff. And like I'd literally count 5 pages of 5 huge pages of people just loving the guy's car. And then like on the 6th page, someone goes, "You fucking loser, that looks fucking stupid, like you look like a clown, like that's fucking gay and shit, whatever." And then I'd get a private message straight away from these people saying, "Oh, Justin, can you take my build thread down? There's too much hate, I can't deal with it." I'm like, dude, there's 5 positive pages full of comments, there's 1 negative comment, there's 3 negative comments versus like maybe 300 positive comments. But those 3 negative comments were enough for these people to lose sleep over.
Yeah, and the big thing there is that negative comment might not even be genuine. It
No,
could just purely be a troll.
just a troll. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, don't you find it a fascinating topic, because like that's how overly sensitive people are?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like something like that on the internet. You can, I think you could brush off. I think I could brush it off, right? If something's more personal and it's at you, that's a lot harder to take. I had somebody once tell me that this is in a business sort of thing, right? And they got told, "Oh, don't trust Lachy, right? That guy's going to stab you in the back," or something like that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And it gutted me, because like I really try and act with integrity, because that's who I am. That's what I am. And it just absolutely rocked me to my core. And it was so hard for me to accept that somebody had said that about me.
Like, don't you find that in that situation that, and in other people's situations, that maybe they place too much value on what somebody else thinks before even knowing who that person is?
Well, for sure. I mean, it was interesting because this person said that they did trust me. And they said, "I can't believe I got told by this guy, that you're an asshole and not to trust you." And I was like, they said what? I don't know. It just, and I guess like there's shit like that that's going to happen all the time. You're not even going to know about it, right?
Usually,
And you can't worry about it. But when it happens.
Usually I've turned that stuff around when someone's gone, "Oh, they told me you're an asshole." And he goes, "Well, did he tell you I'm a cunt too? Because I'm also that. I wear that like a badge of honor."
No, it's right though. It's like it's up to the individual whether they want to fight fire with fire, right? Like if as a graphic designer in the past, if someone ripped off one of my designs, I could spend like maybe a whole year taking that person to court, or I could just go, fuck it. It's just take it as a positive thing that like they're just copying you, and it's like fucking let it go and just keep doing what you do,
It's so tough though, and you see it so much now, I suppose, again, just because of exposure with social media and all that sort of stuff. But guys putting out their art, whether it's a drawing they've done of a car or whatever it is, and then it turns up on someone's Redbubble t-shirt site or something like that.
Yeah. Happens
And,
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and his poor buggers are like trying to chase him down to get it taken down all the damn time. It's got to get
Yeah, but-
exhausting.
Yeah, but
Even with Zenga,
originality
like,
nowadays is pretty hard.
well, originality, as any creative knows, that like you could be having the same idea as somebody else in India.
No, I
right
don't. I
now,
don't
and-
mean you're intentionally not trying to be originalized, and you're going, I'm intentionally ripping this off. It's more of a
Yeah.
case of you go, I created this. It's so cool, and someone could go, that's from this. This is from this. This is from this. This is a complete rip off of these 4 movies. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
So and then it just depends on how you proceed with that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you can spend so much energy trying to shut someone down, or you could just like fucking get on with it, you know? It's tough. It's a tough.
Or you could turn it and be like, well, if there are fans of this movie, they will like this.
Yeah.
I win. Checkmate.
But no, look, like on the topic overall, like I just find like, generally speaking, I think like not everyone should be cut out for that kind of shit. Like if every motherfucker on the internet thought that they had this like confidence to like go out and fucking speak their mind, then like there'd almost be too much of it. So it's almost like there's almost like I like to think that there's every type of person out there on the planet, and like some people just aren't cut out for it, and some people are, and like, man, like if every motherfucker out there thought the same way, god damn, it'd be a mess.
Yeah, but
Not
it's just such a complicated topic because it's a case of the fact that yes, we don't want people just to be bullying everyone and saying go die and everything like that. But then it's just a case of like censorship. Where do you draw the line, and like who constitutes as to what should be censored or not? Because I mean, nowadays, from what we've been seeing all over the internet, it seems that it's becoming really, really political in the fact that certain
Dude, it's
people's
100% political. You're bang on. Like the fact that I even had lockdown laws and I couldn't do this and couldn't do that. I'm like, I fucking never thought I'd see that in my lifetime. Like I never thought I'd be in a situation where my government would say, you're not allowed to fucking go out to a pub or something. Like I'm like, holy shit.
Now I'm
It's
talking like
insane.
political. I'm talking like political, as in someone going, "Look, Black Lives Matter isn't as important as we think," and then going, "Shut this down," and then someone going, "We should get Black Lives Matter to burn this building," and they're not shut down, but they're continued, and it's just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. One of them is sort of a valid sort of suggestion that's open to debate. The other one is just inciting violence, which is illegal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely getting crazy. I mean, I hate to bring it back to kids again, Lockie, but like, fuck, man, your kids are like I have so much, from being such a loud person and being so open, I actually have more fears and concerns now than probably ever before. And if I had kids, I just don't know how I would be able to cope almost with.
Creatively?
Well, it's just like you want. Obviously, I don't even know because I'm speaking from not speaking from experience here. But like, if I had kids, like I'd probably just really want the best for them, like really would. And just knowing that they're gonna go through shit that I'm gonna have to keep up with. It's almost like fucking Destiny 2 again. It's like, man,
Oh my God.
Man, your
Parenthood is equal to Destiny 2.
It is, man, because your kids are gonna be getting these fucking upgrades, updates, and then they're gonna be like on the level. And then as a parent, you'd probably have to fucking grind and keep up. Like you probably
You know what,
have
though?
to. Yeah.
I reckon that's the same for every generation, though, right? And like
True.
things are moving quick now, right?
Yeah.
But if you think about it,
No,
like
you're right.
my my grandparents or what have you, and then when they were probably dealing with my parents, and they're going through like the 60s, and there's like all this revolution and stuff sort of going on.
No, you're right.
You're
right.
They're probably tripping out, like, oh, how the hell are we going to deal with this? So
No,
I'm sure it's the same. Yeah. But yeah, look, it's I think the thing is, like, as you become a parent, though, your mentality sort of changes a little bit, and you I don't know, it's you just sort of go, get with the program. This is the program, and get into it, so
it's almost like, well, there's only so much you can do, right? Like there's only so much you can do. It's like you can't fucking change the world for them. So
absolutely, yeah. I mean, you just prepare them as best you can, and try and, I guess, like I try and pass on the lessons I've learned in life. That's always hard because I think people learn most from doing. So like kind of making mistakes is what you learn from, right?
True.
So you kind of want to let them make mistakes in it, so they can learn from that, but not.
Well, experience is the best. Well, experience is the best teacher. It'll give you the test first and the lesson later.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I actually got from a game. That quote from a game, actually. Which
Hawk, I wouldn't be surprised if everything you know is from fucking manga, man. Like seriously, or anime.
No. I think a lot of my structure thing comes from British military.
Well, there you go too. Yeah, I mean, man, save that for another podcast. But like, you've got a really interesting background that I've always wanted to know more about with your dad and stuff. So, but like, guys, I reckon that's a pretty good podcast. I reckon we've covered a whole lot of shit. I always end up talking about kids. I don't know why, but
he wants them.
Maybe I'm getting clucky or some shit. Hey, like fucking hell.
I wasn't even going to bring it up too much because I know you've been chatting about it the last couple of podcasts.
Yeah, I talked about it with my last podcast guest, Mike Wyckoff. Like, he's got a couple of kids, and he had two more kids with somebody else too. So it's like he's got 4 kids in essence.
So Zen's getting maternal.
Oh, fuck, man.
Zen Junior.
Well, if you look down at my belly, I'm definitely got something maternal going on there. But no, but seriously, guys, that's been awesome. Like, I think we covered a few bases. It's been sick, Lachy. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks.
It's a pleasure, man. I've really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
No, awesome, man. Thanks for putting your real name out there and shit. Don't worry, we won't reveal anything else about you. Like, I'm pretty sure you can still lurk in the shadows if you like.
Yeah, awesome. I'm slowly stepping out of them.
So there's the name Lachy isn't necessarily like the name Lachy. I know this exact person whose name it is.
Right.
Like, nah.
No, I don't think Lachy revealed too much. So, Joke or Hawk, you guys have any last remarks or any comments you want to make?
No, I'm good.
You good?
Lachy, make sure you don't show them the new Star Wars movies. They're just garbage. Save them that. Save them from that.
I'll keep that as sage parenting advice from you, Hawk. Thanks, mate.
Well, when I have kids, that would be when my kids go, Dad, is there like an episode 7, 8, and 9? No, there is none. What about that over there? I have no idea what you're talking about. There's only the 6 movies. Stop asking me questions.
Poor kids.
All right, Hawk. Well, you want to show us out with nipples out or whatever you choose?
I will give Lachy the honor to say nipples out, at least the guest, but I will.
Maybe we can all say nipples out at the same time.
Okay.
Are we going to count down or?
I don't know.
No, I'll do the things. Well then, peoples of the internet, you lovely people, and me and my sexy self. Look at my dead sexiness. We've been geeked out with Lachy, the Retro Geek Zen, and Bedroomized Joker. Guys, on a 3 and a 2 and a 1, nipples out.
Nipples out.